Welcome back to the Major League Gaming 2009 PC Circuit played on HP live in Anaheim. I'm Keith Trahan, joined by Jared V. Colston, as we are down to the last game of the round-robin portion of this tournament.
And this is a very important game for Fnatic. Not only do they need to win, I do believe they need to win 4 of these rounds.
It's coming down to the wire. If they win this, I do believe it's going to put them tied up with a lot of teams. Fnatic wins this, it'll put them at 3-4, along with, let's see, Complexity, BHMS will be 3-4, and EG also 3-4. So it'll come down to who beat who, and if that still doesn't solve it, it'll be rounds won and rounds lost.
And not only that, if they 3-2, let's say Fnatic wins 3-2, then all 3 of those teams will both be 16 wins, 19 losses too. So it's coming down to the very, very end, and that's why we do play out all of these rounds. And of course, Fnatic up against, hands down, the best RMP we've seen. And what a unsurmountable problem Fnatic has right now. Can you imagine being in their shoes?
All right, so game 1, Button Bashers versus Fnatic. Fnatic, Woundman, Doja, Yogg versus Button Bashers, Orange Marmalade, #1 in Heron.
All right, we're going to follow Heron out of the gate, see how his opener goes again. He's going to wait for a while to stealth. Ooh, with a quick beginning.
Wow, he's going to get a sap off the Doja to start this game. Already not looking good. There's that cheap shot onto Yogg, and #1 in a very bad position. We do have a spell lock on the Orange to stop him helping out, and actually Heron's already going to vanish while Yogg was kidneyed. And wow, there's a fear that came across onto Heron, and now he's actually going to swap over to Doja, who is feared. And we do see a dismantle on Wooman as well, so great opener from Button Basher so far.
Heron's blinded right now. Not very many dots coming out from Yogg yet. There he goes. Now #1 getting down to half, breaking that kidney shot with a trinket, having to PI himself, getting those fears up.
And now he's flash healing himself up. Wooman is sitting in that poly. Yogg sitting through a kidney. And now's when this RMP is going to start getting the momentum going. But where's Heron going? He is going to swap once again. It's over to Woundman. There's a cheap shot. 16,000 HP. In comes the Holy Fire as well. Drops below 10,000 HP. 4,000 HP. Barely gets picked back up by Doja. And now we see Hypothermia on Orange ADs did have to block. And Heron caught inside that kidney. And dots are starting to tick.
Heron right now is dismantled and looking to get back onto his target of Woundman, who is going to be taking damage from everyone on that team, including a Holy Fire. But Heron bouncing up and down from about 30% hit points up to half again. No CC onto #1 quite yet, though. Heron able to get away. Oh, death coiled, but
Divine Hymn's going to be taking that entire time. He's going to refresh those dots and start getting him to roll down to 15,000. There's that spell lock over on the #1, but Heron still getting low. Look at Wooman below 4,000, caught in a kidney, will trinket, but he's still in a lot of trouble. Arcane missiles from Orange Marmalade. Down goes Wound, but Heron's still in trouble. Pain suppression. He's going to get on the other side of the sarcophagus, caught into a howl. It's going to be very tough for Yogg to put Heron down by himself.
Doja was blinded during that time when Woundman died, so great job by Heron.
And now Button Basher's going to clean this up. Looks round 1 against Fnatic will be going to Button Bashers.
And Orange Marmalade keeps getting spell locked. #1 at 6,000 mana, so had #1 been completely out of mana, possibly Yogg could have done something, but this is one of those situations where it would take a miracle for them to win.
Yeah, #1 after him, I hope, did fall off. He's sitting around 2K, but it's enough to make it through. Just the dots of Yogg has up. He's just going to do a great job of prayer mending and just bounce it around and keep his teammates up. Now Doja down below 10,000 with Earthshield up, caught into that kidney, and Yogg getting out of that poly, and Doja just trying to keep himself up, and Yogg trying to help out his team out Doja, but I think it's just delaying the inevitable. Heron actually fully dotted up, will receive a power word shield, and feared all the way to the other side of the arena away from Doja.
And Yogg was deep freeze right there. Doja was watching him though, because he was going to get polyed by Orange Marmalade. Doja shocked the poly and hexed Orange Marmalade. So I mean, they're doing everything they can to survive. However, Resto Shamans, when being focused by 3 targets, don't do that well.
And down to 3,000 HP and trinket used, below 4K, and in comes the damage from everyone, dropping Doja, leaving Yogg by himself versus the team of Button Bashers, and they'll clean this up. Round 1 goes to Button Bashers.
And that was a great match right there. The momentum swung so fast back and forth, but that big blind by here, and when they identified Doja did not have his trinket back up, and they dropped Woundman.
So both of these teams should be queuing up in just a moment. On the bottom of your screen, you can see the team of Fnatic to the left, and on the right, that being Button Bashers. And honestly, their only loss being against Check 6 with a series 3-2. They're still very confident going in this tournament, and I bet you they're ready to get into these finals and get another shot at Check 6.
All right, so on your left is going to be Fnatic, and on the right is Button Bashers, 1-0 in favor of the Koreans currently. They should be queuing back up any second right now.
And this is the last series of our round-robin portion of this tournament. Afterwards, we're going to take a short break to go grab some lunch, and then we'll be right back and progress through the double elimination portion of the tournament with the top 4 teams. And also, the top 3 will take home some prize money. Third place, $2,250. Second place, $4,500. And first place being $9,000 in those 3 HP Firebirds.
So let's get right back into the action. It's going to be Ruins of Lordaeron yet again. Second map, same as the first. We're going to have same setups, obviously, since they can't change anything after the first round.
And a big difference in gear actually here in Before Fort, sitting around 20,000 HP. And actually they do have Imp buff up, so once Woundman loses that, he will probably be down to about the same. So Heron does have that advantage with Fort. He has a little more room to work with as far as HP goes. So we saw it in that last game. Woundman, even still having Trinket for that kidney, it was too much damage at that point, and he really had no help as Doja was caught in the blind with nothing to break it.
All right, so the gates should be opening shortly. Doja has his Earth Shield on himself, that powered up Earth Shield with all that gear you swap on at the beginning. And out of the gates, we are going to follow Woundman, see if he can do as great of a job as Heron did.
Game 2, Fnatic Button Bashers, and it's all here for Fnatic. If they want even a shot at making it in the top 4, they can't lose a series, and they still need to dominate it as far as rounds go, because those may influence it as well. But Woundman already coming out, going to sprint all the way to the other side of the arena, and he does have number 1 targeted. And there we go. He's actually going to cheap shot number 1 and blind Heron immediately. A trinket from Heron, and look at that, a sap on the Doja. Now Woundman going to be open on. It's going to be a very bad position for Woundman. Way over there on the other side, dropping to 7,000, 3,000 HP. In comes some heals. He already has to cloak. Not looking good for Woundman, stuck over there on the other side of things. Now Doja caught into a poly, and still Woundman having a lot of trouble. A little bit of damage rolling onto Heron, and finally Woundman picked back up.
Doja has used his NS right there. Heron taking a ton of damage. Look at all those dots right now. Fear on number 1. He was able to break out of it. Penance onto Heron, but having that wound poison on him, he just cloaked it off, plus a vanish, getting out of that terrible situation.
And now Doja caught into a Fear. Heron getting that penance, picking him up. Dots ticking on to number 1. Let's see where Heron decides to go. And it's going to be Woundman, the man under fire once again. And in comes that Holy Fire from number 1. And down goes Woundman. And that aggression we're used to seeing out of Button Bashers. And you can hear them whenever they go for a kill. When they start speaking, so someone's going down.
This view right here is where Doja got feared to. And then he was Novid or frozen. Couldn't tell exactly. So far away. Unlucky by Doja.
And now look at this damage breakdown. You want to talk about triple DPS. Heron doing 44,000 almost. Orange doing 18k. Number 1 doing 28,000 damage.
He did a lot of damage that match, and they did a great job of identifying. I mean, they were trying to go for that kill while they had Doja blinded earlier. Woundman was able to cloak off most of the damage and vanish away, but the second time they got a big fear on a Doja, capitalized on that. Entire team killed Woundman.
And now these teams do have a few minutes to talk things over, but really the only team that could possibly use that time is going to be Fnatic, and they look to stay glued to their seats and just kind of talking amongst one another. And it looks like they are queued back up, and this is going to be played out on the Grand Arena for Game 3. And Fnatic basically has to clean house at this point if they want to stand a chance of making it to tomorrow. I mean, to the double elimination tournament. Man, it's been such a long weekend. Don't even know what day it is anymore.
Well, Fnatic has to play at the very top of their game if they want to defeat this team, and it's coming down to the wire. They have to win these next 3 games.
And, I mean, looking at how quick Heron swaps around and, you know, talking with Button Bashers and actually speaking with JP and Shrew and the guys that are actually out there in the pit, able to see the little things that we miss at the desk. Orange Marmalade, the one always making the shot calls on this RMP, and I think that's one of the big strengths of their team is it's not the rogue, it's actually the mage of an RMP making the call shots. And every time Orange speaks up, Heron's right there. And one of the big matches that comes to my mind when I think about that is Pooks coming across aggressive across the sarcophagus on Ruins of Lordaeron. And
they immediately got on him. Now with Heron, if you watch Heron and he does something you don't expect as a rogue, like get off his target, you know something big's going to happen.
All right, gates about to open. Game 3. Clutch time for Fnatic. Put up or shut up. We've said it a few times through the weekend, but this is it. Everyone confident before this tournament. It's moments like these that decide which teams deserve it more. And actually, Heron going to take it slow and steady, while Woundman's already sprinted in and coming across the arena. Will get a sap onto number 1. Heron's going to get a sap onto Doja, so both healers are sapped, and it's actually Heron that's going to start it. Cheap shots onto Yogg, drops him down to 12,000, and gets out of there.
Wow, and you saw that rain of fire by Yogg. Great job. Doja, however, down to half right now, trying to pick himself back up. It is stuck in that deep freeze right now, not looking too good for him. Trying to Ghost Wolf away, still at half, down to 4,000, and there goes the NS, but not a big heal whatsoever, and that was a ton of damage.
I'm going to say NS didn't crit, and that was the end of it. But even still, with his positioning, I mean, look at it right now, where he died, just right out towards the middle of the arena. Where was he going to get to?
Yeah.
This RMP was not going to let him go.
They figured that they had the solid opener when Woundman got the sap onto number 1, so they tried to shift their positioning towards that pillar. The reaction time of Orange Marmalade, though, is... it was crazy. The second you saw that sap go off, there was an arcane explosion. It was like it almost happened at the exact same moment.
And now take a quick look at the damage done. And at this point, Button Bashers winning the series 3-0 over Fnatic, but just clearly dominating it. Damage done by Yogg, 2,400. Damage done by Woundman, 6,600. Number 1 DPS did more damage than both of them combined.
Yeah, and there weren't any big crits. Largest heal from Doja. It was only 7,100, that NS healing wave.
So, tough spot for Doja, but, I mean, with that positioning shift, as you said, with that early sap, it just put him in a terrible, terrible place.
So, Button Bashers is going to win this series 3-0 over Fnatic. We're going to play out these last 2 rounds. It's going to be on Ruins of Lordaeron again, which means we're probably going to replay it. I believe we've played that one twice.
We have played it twice. We'll see if they're going to head out or we're just going to play it through. And that's pretty much the end of MLG Anaheim for Fnatic. That's going to place them, let's see, overall I do believe they're way down compared to everyone else. And yes, that's going to be 2-5, the same record as Complexity. Only team being below them is SKUS at 1-6. Complexity BHMS, I believe, 3-4, and also EG. So it comes down to, for this 4th place spot, EG versus BHMS, who won? And I do believe it was EG that took that series.
So although Fnatic, if they can pick up a round, I do believe a single round, they'll move up above Complexity, those in terms of the number of points you get. So they got to be able to score a round. And actually, we are in. They are going to play this again. Doja's already bloodlusting right now onto Orange Marmalade, trying to get a Hex off, I do believe. And look at that. Yogg deep frozen right there, able to pour it away onto his side of the tomb. And Will's out of that fear. Woundman already using Cloak and Evasion.
And now a lot of damage going on to Woundman early on in this game. And there's that Rupture, making sure he can't vanish and get out of there cleanly. But a few dots taking on a number 1, but nothing too serious yet. And Orange Marmalade having to block so hypothermia up. And now you see Woundman actually with that Rupture on trying to vanish, not really getting an opener anywhere as he had a very limited amount of time to do it.
Woundman's trying to stick onto Heron, but he's darting away from him over and over, and he is dismantled right now. Or there it goes. Let's see, and Heron has his evasion up. Number 1 down to about 6,000 mana already. Uses his Shadow Fiend, or that was a Shadow of Death actually. Heron down to half right now with that wound poison on him.
So Heron catching that penance, going to pick him up. And now number 1 caught into fear, going to break that and try to get back into this game. But all of this RLS of Fnatic is topped off at this point.
Wow, Hirin got the re-stealth off, but he got feared. Gets feared away yet again. Hirin having trouble this match, staying on the target of his choice.
And now we do actually have those pre-stocks from number one onto Doja, but look at number one down to 8,000 HP with dots up, but WoW just unable to get over there to him, and we do have a fear on him as well. But look at here and down below 4,000 HP, 2758, catches a power word shield, in comes that Divine Hymn to pick up the team of Button Bashers.
Doja down to 4,000 mana right now. Woundman is going to be the target. Look at all this damage coming from Orange Marmalade.
And now Woundman caught in a fear down below, actually dropping below 10k as those nukes are coming in. And once again, that third DPS, number one, having to channel Hymn of Hope as he's pretty much went through his mana bar in this game. And we do have blind onto Hirin as well. So it looks like Fnatic going to be able to turn this one around as they do have the momentum. They just actually need to score a kill at this point.
Yeah, Doja has a deep freeze on him right now. Number one is drinking, though, center of the tomb. It's not like he's out of line of sight. What are they doing? Why are they letting him? There we go. Yogg identifies that he is drinking, heads over to him. Hirin really low, though, cloaked at half health, catches a big penance right there since that wound poison did fall off with that cloak. Yogg's silence right now, going to be casting some Searing's Pains, but is now sheeped.
And now we do have a cheap shot onto Hirin from Woundman, but he's immediately put into a volley. Orange Marmalade recognizing that his partner is in trouble. But look at Orange, very low on mana, having to channel that Evocate over there on the side of the arena, only getting a tick off and then going to be feared. But number one actually getting some drinks off, and things not looking good for this RLS as there's been too many resets. Oh, but a great sap by Woundman onto number one. Hirin should go down in this situation if he can just get over to him. 2,000 HP, catches a pain suppression, and it looks like that he's going to get picked back up.
Oh, feared during penance, so he is going to still be low, taking a lot of damage right now, and another big fear onto number one, and wow, Hirin took so long to die in that game.
Even with a number one in here and being able to reset that fight there a little bit throughout the game, RLS up Fnatic, able to take it back one round, and after the fourth game, this series will be at Button Bashers 3, Fnatic 1.
But you talk about that triple DPS, number one basically drained his mana trying to get that kill. Great job by Doja in terms of mana conservation throughout that entire fight. But the funny part was, once Button Basher was completely out of mana, they lasted another 2-3 minutes.
All right, so these guys will be queuing back up in just a moment to finish that fifth and final game between Fnatic and Button Bashers. Of course, Button Bashers already winning the series after 3 games played.
So let's see if they're going to get right back into it. Not quite yet. They do have a minute or two to talk over any of the strategy changes they need to do. However, that last round went very well for Fnatic. Mm-hmm. Beginning to end, they did a great job, and Woundman, great job of sapping number one.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a fancy player there at the end, but honestly, it's too little too late for Fnatic, as with those first 3 losses, it pretty much knocks out their chances of advancing to the top 4. And Button Basher still sitting with that comfortable lead of only 1 loss, of course, against the only undefeated team through the round-robin play, that being Check 6.
I guess they want to play Runes of Lordaeron every round this match. See if they're going to go into it or not. Yeah, it looks like they are going to stick to it and choose to keep running on to Runes of Lordaeron. Let's see. So we have on your top left is going to be Fnatic. Yogg on Warlock, Woundman on Rogue, Doja on Shaman. And of course we do have the Korean team of Button Bashers with number one on Priest, Orange Marmalade on Mage, and the new Rogue hero Hirin.
I do believe it fits.
Yeah, I know people throw that term around, whatever class hero, but this guy right here, Rogue hero.
Oh, I thought you had to be the only one at a tournament to actually be a hero.
Oh.
Or Ming, actually. But I think he puts a different term to that. But we're going to wrap it up here with the last game. Gates about to open. RMP versus RLS. This we might as well give it a new name, because when Button Bashers runs it, it's a totally different story than from what we've seen with other teams.
Right, so let's see how Woundman starts this fight. Going to Trix immediately out and sprint, trying to find his target, which was Orange Marmalade last time. But, oh, hey, look at that. He knows it's coming, but still gets the sap off. Yogg down to half already right now. Trinketing.
And we do see a Garrote as well. He bounces down to 5,000 HP. Doja finally making it past that sap. Going to come back through and heal him up. And now we do have a Fear onto Orange and a Kidney on here. And it looks like they're going to stack some dots up onto here and get damage rolling.
Orange Marmalade was able to deep freeze Woundman when they did open up onto Huron. Doja's feared right now with a dot on him. Woundman down to half right now, but Doja is back into line of sight, reapplying that Earth Shield.
And now Bloodlust finally used by Fnatic, and things should tune up for him here, but Doja caught into a poly. He's just getting chained through CC at this point. Damage seems to be going on to Huron mostly, though. 15,000 HP. Number one actually really low on mana already.
Yeah, number one had a lot of opportunities to, well, look at him DPS right now. He does have his...
Oh, and that'll do it. NS still up for Doja. Woundman gets domed. That'll end the series. They do manage to take one win, but Button Bashers will take it overall 4-1 over Fnatic. So that's going to pretty much do it for the round-robin portion of the tournament with here in Anaheim with Jared and I. But we're going to take a short break to go get some lunch and come back and progress into the double elimination portion, which takes us one step closer to see who takes some money home from this event. So we'll be back in a little bit live from Anaheim with the Major League